And this one kind of was like, there's nothing wrong with this one. It's perfect. It seems like it should be a pottery. I didn't know what I was looking for. You know, like I said, I know how to order wheels, but I don't know buildings, and that's where you kind of helped me with that.
Well, and I don't know this, so it's a good team. You found your perfect spot for your business. We want to talk a little bit about it. Go back to the beginning. Tell us what it was like in the very beginning stages, looking for a space. What did you need? Walk us through that a little bit.
You know, the whole thing started with an idea, obviously, and then it's like, okay, what do you want? What do you need? There's two different parts. Some of the wants, maybe you can't afford or can't do, but there's certain things you have to have. I think that's where you helped me out a lot, because, you know, I know pottery, but I don't know real estate. Do you remember we met up in Hy-Vee?
Yeah, we did. Yep. Yeah, I was hanging out with some family. And
I think you were with your like sister-in-law or somebody from
exactly.
out east or something. Yeah. And you're like, hey, did you find a spot yet? Because you were at a showing that I was looking at. And I was like, no, I didn't. And you're like, well, email me what you want, what you need. So I was, okay, I did that. And of course, just like buying a house, it's like, I want all of this, but maybe you can't afford all of this. And you know, so you put together some showings, and we went and looked at them. And I remember this one in particular, you said, hey, what about this? And just right away, I was like, it's too far from my house. And, but again, I don't know, I know how to make a pot, I don't know, and you're like, I really think you should look at it. And it was like, hey, this is actually perfect. It has its own parking lot. A lot of the other ones that I had seen online were in strip malls or stuff like that. Another one, I don't know if you remember, we went and looked at the place that next door was a music store.
Yes.
And it was just so loud, you could hear somebody, I think they were playing trumpet or something.
You wouldn't have been able to use your records over here.
No, it was, and so we came in here and it was like, this is actually perfect. So, yeah. So there was a lot of looking. We looked at a different bunch and this one was just more or less perfect.
Yeah, I think this is one of the first ones that we like really talked about, but then we, you know, it's good and it's smart to go look at many different options. You know, it's you don't want to have kind of that remorse in the end of not taking the opportunity to go look at something. Yeah. You want to be able to have that opportunity to go look at stuff, but then also looking at each different space, I feel like we were able to kind of keep figuring out a little bit more what your needs were.
Yeah, and this one kind of hit on everything. You know, there were some, like we said, it's like, okay, it's good location, but there's 3 parking spots. This one's good location, but there's a trumpet next door. That's just, you know, and this one kind of was like, there's nothing wrong with this one. It's perfect. It seems like it should be a pottery.
Right, and just the feel. I think when we came in the door, we could tell, like, just the way that it looks, like it just had that feel that would be perfect for doing pottery.
Yeah, and you know, I make pots, so I'm gonna be here a lot. I want a place that I want to be at. I don't want a place that I'm like, I don't like this place. You know, I don't want it, all the windows. That's key. Right. I didn't want a basement.
I think that's something too, when we were looking at this, like all the window space that you have is awesome. It works really well too because of what you've done here, putting up your pottery on it, right? Showcase as well as people are driving by and seeing it. But then also just the location right off of the main trach here, what did you call the belt line?
Yeah, we're on 14 and everyone knows this building's been around for a while. So people, when I tell them and I say, well, it used to be the laundromat, and they always say, oh, by the bait shop with the bug on top. So people, it's kind of a known building. It's not just some new random building that people don't know. It's,
right.
You know, it was a laundromat, it was a construction place. It's been a few things over the years.
Yeah, it has, and I remember each of them that way too, so you're right. And then, so when we find the space, it's not just, oh, we found the space and it was exactly like this. You gotta build it out too. So walk us through that, like the thought process behind it, what you want it to look like and how you did it.
Well, that's what was nice about this is the bones, or the, you know, it was ready to go. The bathroom was done, you know, handicap accessible bathroom. There were multiple rooms. So a lot of it was just cosmetic. This was carpet, gray carpet. So that all had to be ripped out. The walls were gray and that wall was blue. And not that it was bad, it just doesn't work for what we're doing. But then the things that we did have to do, we had to update the electrical to make sure there's plenty of power for all the wheels. They have to hang because if they're from the bottom, water drips down, so they have to be up. And then the kiln takes 220. There's mixers back there, a couple mixers that take 220 in the kiln, and then we also had to run plumbing. So yeah, but
And then one of the other things that we had to figure out too was the max occupancy that we could have in this space? Because that makes a big difference for your business. If you find the right space, but you can't have enough people in it, then that doesn't work.
And that was a little bit of a process. You helped me with that. I had to go talk to city planning and say, hey, what can we do here? Can I have a kiln? I had to call the fire marshal. I had to call building safety and all these, check off all these boxes. And finally everyone was like, yep, that's fine, as long as you do it this way. And then we went ahead with the construction. And it didn't take too long. I would say 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, from the moment that you started construction to the moment that it was done,
it was either 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
and you got this done just in time for the summer months too.
Which was critical.
Yeah.
Because if this opened in October, then kids aren't gonna be doing classes and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, so I think that's something that's like super essential when you're looking to open a business. You wanna have the timing right. Like you said, if you started this in November, I feel like that's a really hard time to start. People are celebrating the holidays, winter break is there, people are maybe traveling to see family. So it's a harder time to start. I think that you got really just the perfect time to start.
Just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
And actually, if it was too soon, then you're just paying bills and nobody's coming, so it's kind of the right time.
You can find the right location, you can have the right business, everything can be right, but I feel like if you don't have enough signage or the correct signage right when you start, that can make a big difference too. I think one day did you have a wavy inflatable person out here?
I do, I put them on, I think I put them on my truck.
Yeah.
I should put them on again.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love seeing that. This has been awesome to work with you throughout this whole process, and I'm excited to see what you've already done. I'm excited to see where this goes in the future. So thank you for letting me be a part of that journey with you.
Well, thanks I wouldn't have been able to do it, so thanks.
Appreciate it.